Hey y'all, welcome to Faith and Build Ministry. My name is Maisha. Welcome or welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be doing part 5 of the Dream series, and we're going to be talking about Joseph's prophetic gift. The week before we talked about Daniel's prophetic gift, and I explained one of the dreams he had and pointed out different symbols that you can also compare between your dreams. So go back and look at that if you haven't already, or check out my previous videos because there's also 3 other videos concerning the dream series about whether you have the prophetic gift, different possible symbols that something could mean in representations. Go back. I can't go remember off the top of my head, but yeah, everything's there. I can link the dream series playlist in the description box. I just gotta remember. But so a little context for the story that we're going to be reading is going to be coming from Genesis chapter 37 verses 1 through 8. Before we get into that, for those of you who don't know the story of Joseph or not familiar with Joseph or who he was, Jacob, you're going to see that name. Jacob was Joseph's father and the father of his other brothers as well. Just for those of you who aren't familiar with this story already. So I'm going to go ahead and turn there. And I'm going to have it up on the screen for y'all to follow along if you don't have your Bibles with you. So it says, Jacob lived in a land where his father had stayed, the land of Canaan. These are the family records of Jacob. At 17 years of age, Joseph tended sheep with his brothers. The young man was working with the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah, his father's wives, and he brought a bad report about them to their father. Now Israel loved Joseph more than his other sons because Joseph was a son born to him in his old age, and he made a robe of many colors for him. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not bring themselves to speak peaceably to him. I want to kind of pause for a minute. Israel is kind of like a nickname that Joseph's father had, but his name is actually Jacob. But depending on what translation of the Bible you're reading, you may see Israel, but it's Jacob. So picking up from verse 5, then Joseph had a dream. When he told it to his brothers, they hated him even more. He said to them, listen to this dream I had. There we were, binding sheaves of grain in the field. Suddenly my sheaf stood up, and your sheaves gathered around it and bowed down to my sheaf. Are you really going to reign over us? His brothers asked him. Are you really going to rule us? So they hated him even more because of his dream and what he had said. So, yeah, this was the first dream that Joseph had concerning sheaves, and the sheaves represented Joseph and his brothers. The definition of a sheaf, if you don't already know what it is, I kind of had to look it up. It's a quantity of the stalks and ears of a cereal grass or sometimes other plant material bound together. I'm going to go ahead and include it on the screen right here. So yeah, that's what it looks like. And as it says in the text, his sheaf stood up and his brother's sheaves bowed down to him. So we do know in modern day, that anytime someone is bowing down to someone, it's in honor or reverence to that person, or they hold some type of powerful leadership position. We don't really have too many kings nowadays, but I know they do in England and queens and stuff, but not in modern day America. But yeah, Joseph wasn't at the point yet where he was like he had any sort of kingship or power position, but he will later on when you keep reading. So he was still working the field with his brothers, daily life, and this dream was prophetic because the Lord was showing him of what's to come. In the future, they would be bowing down to him because he would be in a higher power position. So, as I mentioned like in my previous videos, God will sometimes use objects to symbolize a certain meaning of what he's trying to project to you. But yeah, he'll use simple representation sometimes. So in this dream, it was sheaves. But I'm going to continue reading on verses 9 through 11. And this is basically another short dream that Joseph had. So this would be his second dream. So picking up from verse 9, it says, "Then he had another dream and told it to his brothers. 'Look,' he said, 'I had another dream, and this time the sun, moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me.' He told his father and brothers, but his father rebuked him. 'What kind of dream is this that you have had?' he said. 'Are your mother and brothers and I going to come and bow down to the ground before you?' His brothers were jealous of him, and his father kept the matter in mind." So that's the end of the second dream. So the sun and the moon represented his parents, and 11 stars represented his 11 brothers. Yes, he had 11 siblings. That's a lot of siblings. I would not want to have that many siblings, not unless I, got along with all of them. But sometimes that's harder when you have a bigger family and stuff. So yeah, the Lord further revealed that not only will his brothers bow down to him, but his parents will too. They didn't like that very much. And these dreams made his brothers feel very angry because they were already jealous of him because his father's favorite, and it was pretty obvious. But yeah, I also noticed that when you have the gift of prophecy, it also comes with being able to eventually interpret your own dreams, because the Lord is giving you a deeper revelation, but also be able to interpret other people's dreams just the same. So Joseph later interpreted Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker's dream because they ended up in prison. Joseph was already in prison for a crime he didn't commit, but yeah, Pharaoh, the Egyptian king, had sent two other people who worked under him to prison for something they did too. So Joseph interpreted their dreams that they had that night while they were in the prison. And you can read about this in chapter 40 and see what dreams they had. I also kind of want to share like a really big tip if you do have the gift of prophecy, or you may not have the gift of prophecy, but the Lord does show you different things in your dream. It's very important to pray to God if you need help interpreting it, ask him who you should go to about it. You shouldn't always just, willy-nilly share it with anybody, because especially if it's a really good dream or something the Lord's going to be bringing in your life and kind of giving you a heads up, not everybody's going to be happy for you. They're not going to agree with you, and they may speak negatively over it or discourage you. So just be careful with that. And yeah, some people may even try to get in the way of what God has in store for you and showing you through that dream, but nobody can stop God's plan. But yeah, just pray for revelation on who to share it with overall. Even with Joseph, even when he shared it with his brothers, I don't think that was a good idea, but he was new to having these dreams and he was excited about it. So sometimes we accidentally may share it and not knowing better. And his brothers did. They tried to sell him into slavery, but that only later positioned him to be he wasn't a king, but he was like second in command under the king and had that rulership over others, but not rulership over that king. But he did have rulership, or kingship. However, he had a very powerful position. Went from slavery to having a very powerful position over that nation that he was in at the time. So, yeah, this pretty much wraps it up for this video. Not sure for the dream series. The Lord may have me share more to add on to this playlist for the dream series, but I'm going to take a little break from it for right now. But yeah, this is all for now, and if you made it this far, thank you for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!